Hesiod's Theogony, an epic poem written by Hesiod around 700 BC, beginning in Terzascoma's anthology on page 131, begins with an invocation to, that is, a calling upon, the Muses. The Muses are the 9 daughters of Mnemosyne, Memory, and Zeus, thought to inspire poets and other artists. I'm not going to ask you to read this poem for literary appreciation, but for information, hence the terms on the worksheet. So the first term on the worksheet is Mount Helicon, which is mentioned in the second line, together with the Heliconian Muses here. Heliconian Muses. All you need to do is write down here that it's connected with the Muses. Happens to be a mountain near where Hesiod lives. Mount Olympus will come up later, so we'll just skip that one. Okay, the third one, Cronion, is mentioned here. You notice that there's a footnote. Footnote 1, son of Kronos, that is Zeus. This is a common feature in myth called a patronymic. That is, a word is, a name is given by the name of the father, not by the actual God's name. As if I were called, instead of by my proper first name, Greg, by my father's, by a patronymic, which we don't use in English, but in some cultures they do, as Donaldson, because my father's name was Donald. Okay. The third one is, third term is on the next page. Zeus the Aegis holder. So this is something that belongs to Zeus. It sort of identifies him. Okay. Hera is described as his lady. That is, she's, for this purpose, all you need to know is you could just say his lady. That would be okay, i.e. his wife. Okay. She's described, as most of the gods are here, by an epithet. This is called an epithet. The goddess of the golden sandals. Okay. Aegis holder comes up again to describe Zeus without mentioning Zeus's name. But Athena is mentioned as his girl, because, as you'll later learn, she was born from Zeus's head. She also gets to use the Aegis herself, and so she is often seen with the Aegis. We'll talk more about that when we look at images. Her totem, so to speak, is an owl. So that's her totem animal. For Zeus, the totem animal would be the eagle, for example. That's not in the text, but just for example. Hera is often called cow-eyed. Okay. The third one here is Poseidon, who's connected with earthquakes. Poseidon is usually a sea god, but here he's described as the earthquake god. So this is an epithet of Poseidon, in Latin, Neptune. Okay. Themis is only described as modest here, so you don't need to write down any more than that. It's modest. I think she comes up again, but let's see. We can find, nope, not findable. Modest. She's the goddess connected with what's right. And Aphrodite is described by a physical attribute, by her eyelashes. By her eyelashes, so presumably a compliment. Okay. Hebe has a golden crown. Oh, sorry. Dione, this is Hebe here. Dione is simply described as lovely, not a very important goddess. Then he mentions these characters here. So for our purposes, Iapetos, the father of Prometheus. Okay. If you were interested in just looking up the answers to this, please don't use the internet. Just look at the index in the textbook, where you read that he is the father of the Titans, Prometheus, also Atlas, also the brother of Prometheus, Epimetheus, Afterthought, and several others. Kronos is mentioned. The successor of Uranos, in Latin Uranos, like that, and so forth. Okeanos, the ocean god, connected with the river of ocean, but we can talk about later. Okay, so that should give you a start. More about this later.